Alright everybody, as promised, I am going to Frankenstein the crap out of this Makita 6012 HD cordless drill. And yep, this is the exact same one that Eddie Van Halen used in the video Poundcake back in the 90s. Now, I've already done a review on this drill. We talked about how far technology actually came since this drill, but this thing was like the ultimate bad ace back in the day. If you had it, you were the man. Now, this is the first time I've ever Frankensteined anything. The drill that he used in the video was designed after his Frankenstrat, and I'm curious to see how this is going to go. But we have to take this entire thing apart. I have a feeling that on the inside, the grease is just caked in there, and it probably hasn't been updated or changed or anything for about 30 years. And yep, I'm right. Now, all in all, the interior of this drill, not the worst shape. I mean, it's actually pretty clean. So whoever had this, you know, they kept it in good shape. But you can see that grease is just caked on there, and it's really not doing anything for the drill. So we're going to take all of this out. We're going to clean it all out. We're going to spray paint this. We're going to tape it off. We're going to do our best. This is the first time, again, that I've ever done this. But before we get started, if you like any part of this video, it would be greatly appreciated if you could smash that like button. Alright, so to get into some of the creases, I got a slotted head screwdriver and just dug all of that grease out of there. It was really just caked in. And then I threw mineral spirits in there and just let it set. The degreaser that I just showed in that video, I'll talk about that here in a little bit. But that mineral spirits actually did a pretty good job. And then I took a wire brush and just cleaned out the entire inside. I didn't want any of that leftover grease in there. And then I wet sanded with 1000 grit sandpaper. Of course, the reason why we do that is because we want the new paint to stick. So I made sure I got into all the creases, all the cracks, everywhere, took that shine off, and we were basically ready to go for the paint. So I put 2 screws in, I got my Rust-Oleum right here, and the first coat was white. I sprayed the entire thing white. Now there's a couple different ways of doing this. You could spray paint it black to get those black stripes. We're not doing it that way. We went white. Then we taped it off. Now that we're taping it off, we're able to spray our red, and then the white, once we pull that tape off, will actually stay, and it will start looking like the Frankenstat. So I looked at a couple reference pictures. There weren't that many, which kind of surprised me, so I'm just doing my best to do what I could to get it as close as I can. Now, I'm also using frog tape because it doesn't stick as well, and it works pretty good. But the other thing I want to tell you about the stripes is now that I'm painting it red, I did not go out and buy all these special pin stripes and all these certain sizes. I don't think that's what Eddie did. You know, he always talked about not having a lot of money, and I think he just got whatever tape he had and just kind of threw it together. But we painted over the white and that tape that we already put down to protect that white. We hit it with about 2 coats of the red. I went with the apple red, and it's a high gloss. The white's a high gloss, and that black's going to be a high gloss. You can go darker. I don't think it really matters. I think if you see it, you sort of get the point. But now that that red paint is dried up, I am going to start removing the tape that I made those white stripes with. So I'm going to try to be very careful. I didn't want it to set up real hard because I didn't want it to pull it and rip that paint, tear it. So it's not tacky, but just beyond tacky. It's still soft is what I would say. And again, while I'm doing this, if you sprayed the black first, you know, I think it's a little bit more confusing if you do it that way. You know, I think with the red and the white, by painting it white first and then painting the red after you tape it, it's just easier. And then you can figure out where you want to put those black stripes. You get too much tape on there, it's just going to be confusing. But now you can see right here, right where I taped it off, you can see those lines. That's where the black is going to go. I just sprayed them down a little bit. Now, you don't want this thing looking like a candy cane, so you got to be a little creative. So figure out where you want those black stripes. I might put a couple up on top, a couple more down the side. You can see I taped it off just for that line. And yeah, this is a harder way of doing it, but at least you don't have to deal with 10,000 rolls of tape. You're all trying to take it off at the same time. So we're just going to remove that. It's still a little bit damp, maybe tacky, not damp, tacky, moist. It's moist. And there you go. So there's a couple. And then what we're going to do is we're going to match those black stripes up. We're just going to go right over the top and then down the back side. We'll line those up just like so, and then we'll spray them. Now, in between coats, you can hit it with the heat gun. You can let it dry for maybe 40-45 minutes. You don't want to put this stuff on when it's wet, obviously. But again, we're just going to go right over the side right here. And that's what we did. We basically just painted it up. And now those black stripes really just stand out on that red and white. And even though it's sort of a simple design, it's a lot harder than I thought it would be to do. Again, this is my first time ever doing this. We'll add those stripes down in the back here in a bit, but this was the finished product. You know, once it was all cleaned out, the motor was put back together, it was ready to go, and I was ready to jam out with it. But at the end of the day, again, this thing, you know, it's definitely distinguishable. You know what it's for, you know where it's from, you know who used it, and it's just an iconic drill. So I was really happy to get my hands on that. But that being said, it's time to jam out. So we're going to play some Van Halen. I'm going to show you the rig that I'm going to use. Now, I have the PV 5150 Eddie Van Halen stack. I also have a JCM 800 lead series, but I think this drill sounds a lot better on the 5150, obviously because of the reverb. We're also using a Gibson Les Paul Classic. We are using the EMG Zach Wild pickups. They're really hot, so it ought to pick that drill up and really let it scream. We're also using a delay pedal, an overdrive pedal, and Eddie's phaser pedal. And just to let you know, I did not mic my amps up. I did not bring it into the studio. I didn't do anything. I just threw my camera in front, and it's probably going to sound a little crappy, but I want you to really hear this drill. Oh, and I'm kind of using a crappy backing track. Don't forget to subscribe to the Tool Review Zone channel. Hit that bell notification. Really able to get that sustain off of those EMG pickups. Of course, we gotta do some finger tapping. Don't forget to smash the like button. Woo. Eddie! Woo, leave a comment in the comment section. Tell me what you think about this drill. Oh yeah! Thanks for watching, everyone. Appreciate it.